Good morning, Knicks Nation. Today is December 25th, 2024. It's a Christmas holiday for those who celebrate that. Happy holidays to you. I hope that you and your family are safe and healthy today, and that the needs of you and your family in terms of food, shelter, clothing, as well as health are being met today. Blessings upon those that work in the healthcare field, along with the first responders, who even today are out here trying their best to save lives. Those also that make deliveries for our convenience, and those that pick up garbage to keep our places clean. Double blessings on the men and women that are out here even today trying to help, rescue, deliver, and recover teenagers and children that even today are victims of child molestation and pedophilia. Helping people that are victims of prostitution and child prostitution. Helping people that are victims of pornography even today and child pornography. Helping people that are victims of human trafficking and sex slavery even today. And even today, double curses on all the perpetrators. Double curses on those that profit. And double curses upon the perverts that even today make these disgusting, evil industries go. Finally, double blessings on the homeless even today. There are more than 600,000 men, women, children, families, senior citizens, veterans, even today, homeless in the United States of America. And millions around the world in similar or worse conditions. Blessings upon them. For theirs is the kingdom. In about an hour, there's going to be a basketball game at Madison Square Garden today. The New York Knicks will be taking on Victor Wembanyama, Chris Paul, Devin Vassell, and the San Antonio Spurs. Now, the Knicks have an opportunity today to win their fifth straight. The good thing about today is even if the Knicks lose this game, they would still be third in the East. They're a full game ahead of Orlando, who is being scrappy. Orlando is being amazing this year. Jamal Moses, as I mentioned, even without major players, they're still winning. But the Knicks are a game ahead of them and 3 games behind Boston. And so here we go. The Knicks are going to take on the San Antonio Spurs on national TV. Today is a Christmas Day game. The Knicks usually do play on Christmas Day. So just like the Detroit Lions, I guess, or the Dallas Cowboys play on Thanksgiving, the Knicks always play on Christmas. So here we go. The Knicks taking on San Antonio with nobody except Mitchell Robinson, who we expect, and McCullough on the injury report. So none of the rotation players right now are on the injury report. Same with the Spurs. None of the injury play of their rotation is on the injury report. The Spurs right now are 5-5 in their last 10. This is what you call a rebuilding team. But the thing is about a team like the Spurs, because of a guy like, see, there are rookies and they have normal rookie progress and normal rookie things that they go through. But then there are some guys that are better than normal rookies. And they speed up the rebuilding process. Luka Doncic, for example, speeded up Dallas's rebuilding process. Okay, there are rookies, and then there are rookies, that make a change in the team, a dramatic change, and make that team like a Michael Jordan, go from bottom of the barrel to now rising quickly. That's Victor Wembanyama in the San Antonio Spurs. Tim Duncan, that just makes that process short. It's still going to be a rebuilding process now, but it's not going to be as long as others because of that player. So Victor Wembanyama is such a player. He right now in the San Antonio Spurs are 15-14. They're 9th in the West. They're 5-5 in their last 3. They're -1 on the differential, which means they're closing the gap, because one of the things about rebuilding teams with young players is they have to learn NBA level defense. Well, Victor Wembanyama being one of the top NBA defenders right now in the league, candidate for Defensive Player of the Year, helps expedite that process. So he's a transformational player. My concern with him coming into the league is my concern with most skinny boys that have light in the behind, like him, Mitch Rob, Chet Holmgren. You tend to get hurt when you light in the behind in the NBA, but not Mr. Wembanyama. He has been available. He has played, the majority of the games he's eligible to play. And yeah, he's here. He's here. So this is good for San Antonio, which makes it a threat to the Knicks. Okay, so not only is this an NBA team, that could beat you. This is an NBA team that's on the very short, quick rebuild. Okay, and then you get a veteran like a Chris Paul, one of the all-time great point guards in NBA history, at the end of his career. But that's the type of guy you need to help you with a player like Victor Wembanyama. So you got Jeremy Sohan, who's another, he styles himself like Dennis Rodman, although he scores better than Rodman did in the league, but he doesn't rebound like Rodman. But he's a really good, solid piece and a very good defender, Sohan. Then you got Devin Vassell, who I liked coming out of Florida State, a defender and a guy that can hit shots from the wing. And then, of course, you got Victor Wembanyama. Now, you got a couple of other guys, Castle. You got a couple other guys that are very good. But this is all part of the rebuild. Then you add in a Chris Paul, you add in a Harrison Barnes, veterans, and this is how you do it. You got a Trey Jones, but you got Julian Campaign, you got Champagne, you got Stephen Castle, and then of course you got Keldon Johnson. You got very solid team. But again, it's on a rebuild. So if the Knicks to beat San Antonio today, because first of all, Victor Wembanyama, and especially Victor Wembanyama and Chris Paul and Devin Vassell, these are the type of guys that like to show out on a nationally televised game at MSG. The lights ain't going to intimidate none of them. And they're going to come out to play today, okay? So for the Knicks to beat them, they got to play Knicks basketball, which means you want to be defense, right? You got to play some defense. You got to play especially perimeter defense. And you know what? Having Landry Shamet back today, that's going to help the perimeter defense. And, of course, you got to focus on Wembanyama. And the thing about it is the Knicks do not need to double-team Wembanyama. El Gato Grande can guard him one-on-one. But then again, on the other side, Victor can guard El Gato Grande one-on-one. Victor's one of the few players in the world, but in the NBA, that can guard El Gato Grande one-on-one. See, that's a major thing. What does that mean? So they got a real good rim protector, obviously, in Victor Wembanyama. So now El Gato Grande has got to look for cutters, which he's very good at doing. The Knicks got to move without the ball, which means not only do we need to play perimeter defense, but we need to move without the basketball. I don't think the Knicks are ignorant of that fact. I think they know that, particularly guys like Deuce, guys like OG, guys like Mikal Bridges, guys like Josh Hart. Moving without the basketball is what these guys do. That's why they're getting about 30 assists a game. So they have to do that. El Gato Grande has got to he's going to be drawing attention of Victor Wembanyama, drawing him away from the basket. So cutters are important today. So they got to play tight defense. They got to catch the cutters. El Gato Grande cannot force shots against Victor Wembanyama. And that being said, El Gato Grande has got to stay out of early foul trouble. Okay, you got to stay out of early foul trouble, stay on the floor, because then you can play against this kid and you can neutralize him. But you got to be on the floor to do that. He gets in early foul trouble, you got to bring Precious in. I'm not saying Precious can't guard anybody. Precious can, but he's not El Gato Grande. And he'll be out of position at the 5 trying to guard Victor. So we need El Gato Grande to stay out of foul trouble. Of course, that's a function of the 6th man of the Spurs, who are the referees. But anyway, that's what we got to deal with. So we got to stay out of foul trouble, got to focus. He's got to be the focus. And the most important mover without the ball, Jalen Brunson. Okay, so you got Brunson. Now, they're going to have to guard Brunson with Devin Vassell. He's about 6'7". You're going to have to guard him with Devin Vassell, which is, Devin Vassell plays some defense. He's the guy I had number 1 on my board that year that we got Obi Toppin. I had Devin Vassell, and then I wanted the boy that Halliburton. But I wanted Devin Vassell first. I liked him coming out of foul state. I like most of the guys most of them, not all, but most of the guys coming out of Florida State and Leonard Hamilton. They can play ball, especially on the NBA level when they got NBA talent. So Vassell is one of those guys. So they'll probably be guarding Brunson with Vassell. That's going to be in the same mode as Dyson Daniels, in the same mode as all the other tall guys, they put on JB. So he's not going to say anything he's not used to. Again, so that's going to be the key piece. Also, him moving without the ball, going through El Gato, and then, of course, you got the perimeter defense, as I mentioned, Deuce McBride, Shamet, Cameron Payne, and, of course, Josh Hart and Mikal Bridges. All of those represent the perimeter defense we're going to have to play today. Okay, so you got all that. Rebounding. The Knicks, Victor Wembanyama, Jeremy Sohan, they can get boards now. So you're going to have to really play aggressive on the boards. This is where pressures comes in. If we can keep Gato out of foul trouble, what's going to happen is when Victor sits down, El Gato will sit down. Okay, and so then you're going to have bring in pressures. Pressures on the boards very important today. Okay, you got to have him hitting the basket, hitting the boards. And then, of course, now you got also. You have to keep your turnovers low, okay? You don't want to let a young team have you turning the ball over. The Knicks, in general, do not want to be a turnover-prone team. We knew that this was a problem coming into the game, so they've had a day to look at film. They've had a day to practice. They need to really shore up them turnovers quick. That means Josh Hart can't be throwing the ball all over the floor today, okay? And also, of course, JB has to read the game, which he's been excellent at doing, as I mentioned before, reading the game, and he's got to keep his turnovers down because his turnovers been high last couple of games as well. So we got to have him and Hart really, and El Gato, all three of those guys, really keep the turnovers to a minimum. They average in 12 turnovers a game. The Knicks they need to be below that today. I'd like to see them, if possible, 10. Okay, 10 is a good number for them. They can get below 12, and they can get the rebound, and they can play perimeter defense, and El Gato can have a duel to a draw with Victor Wembanyama. He's going to do some amazing plays because he's that good. But that's not the whole game. That's the individual battles, right? But the whole game, if he can neutralize El Gato, can neutralize him, we'll be in good shape today. We'll be in good shape today. So we're trying to see if we can get this fifth straight. If we can, that'd be a good. Knicks will be the first 30 games, 20-10, excellent record. But then again, if they finish 20-11, that ain't bad either. But it'd be nicer to be 20-10, right? So let's hope we can get that today. And that's your game today. So in about less than an hour, probably an hour with all the festivities and all that, they'll be ready to tip off. And we'll look for the Knicks to play Knicks basketball. We know Chris Paul and them going to want to go off today. And Chris Paul, they might try to put Chris Paul on Brunson because Chris Paul is a former All-NBA level defender as well. Okay, but he is older. So that would be interesting. We'll see how that works out. But they'll probably be switching a lot, and they'll both be ended up guarding Brunson. That's what they would do. Teams don't guard usually the other team's star offensive player with one guy. They usually run a committee at a guy. So in case of Brunson, you'll probably see Paul and Devin Vassell guarding him at different times. And with regard to El Gato Grande, you're going to see Victor Wembanyama taking him on one-on-one, but then they're going to probably throw a lot of other guys at him, if Charles Bassey, Zach Collins. They're going to try their best, Jeremy Sohan, to guard El Gato Grande. They do it by committee. Most teams do. You can't guard really good offensive players with one guy on any NBA team, but they'll do it by committee. You'll mostly see the main guys on them, but they'll have other guys as well. Same with the Knicks. So we got to play Knicks basketball. We can be in this game, get our fifth straight, okay? Y'all enjoy this holiday. Please be safe. Don't argue today with family. Don't take up today. Don't let today be the day you start trying to settle old scores with your family. Back up, chill out, and enjoy. So.